Namaste dear students, how are you all? I hope everyone is fine. Well, students, do you remember what had we learned in our previous class? Okay, if you remember, we had discussed on the adaptational characteristics of aquatic animals. Aquatic animals, their adaptational characteristics along with the examples. Do you remember some of the adaptational characteristics of aquatic animals? Okay, I hope you remember, but the major points that we discussed in our previous class was aquatic animals, they live in water, right? And they have streamlined or boat shaped body. Also, they have slippery body, yes, and they have fins for movement. They breathe with the help of gills. These were the major points that we had discussed in our previous class. Now, talking about today's class, we are moving to the topic related to the plants today. Okay, and the topic says development stages of a plant. How does the plant develop? Those things will be discussed in today's class. We know we have seen different kinds of plants around us. Some of the plants, they are flowering, some of them they are non-flowering. Flowering plants means the plants that bear flowers in them are called flowering plants, whereas non-flowering plants means the plants that do not bear flowers in them are called non-flowering plants. The example of flowering plants includes all the flowers and fruits also are there. Whereas non-flowering plants includes liverwort, moss, mushroom, etc. Okay, we can just think of the flowers as flowering plants. Understood? Now, in today's class, at first we are going to discuss on parts of a plant, and this is the picture of a flowering plant. Okay. Now, talking about the parts of a plant. A flowering plant, a complete flowering plant, it is usually divided into two parts. These are the main parts, that is root system and shoot system. Root system means the part of the plant that lies underground, that lies below the soil, below the ground is root system, whereas shoot system means the part of the plant that lies above the ground, that we can see, but roots of a plant, they cannot be seen, okay, as they lie below the ground, as they lie underground. So, root, it helps the plants to anchor into the soil, that means it grabs, it holds the plant tightly into the soil, and it also helps to absorb water and minerals. Root, it helps to absorb water and minerals from the soil. Okay, the first function of root is it holds the plant tightly into the soil, and the next one, it absorbs water and minerals from the soil. Okay, then talking about shoot system, a shoot system includes all the other parts that lies above the ground, that lies above the soil, like stem, fruit, leaf, flowers, buds, nodes or internodes, they all are included as the shoot system, in the shoot system only. Now, moving on to the shoot system, at first let us discuss on stem. Okay, what is a stem? Stem is the aerial part of a plant. Aerial means that lies in the air. Okay, so stem, it is the part of a plant that lies above the ground. Stem, it helps the plant to stand straight. This is the stem of a plant, and it helps the plant to stand straight. It also bears many structures. See, leaves, they are also arising from the stem only, and branches, many branches, leaves, fruits, they arise from the stem only. That is, stem, it gives rise to other parts of a plant as well. Okay, and also what does it do? The water and minerals that is absorbed by the root is transported to different parts of the plant with the help of stem only. Okay. Similarly, leaf. Moving on to leaves. Next part of a plant, that is leaves. Leaves, they are the green parts of a plant. Here I have colored the leaves as green, isn't it? Leaves, they are usually green in color. What makes leaves green in color? Do you have any idea? Well, remember what had we learnt in grade 3 also? The green pigment called chlorophyll that is found in plants is the reason why leaves are green in color. Leaves are green in color due to the presence of green pigment called chlorophyll. Okay, so and the function of leaves, it includes leaves help to prepare food for whole part of a plant. So as it prepares food for all the parts of a plant, it is also known as the kitchen of a plant. Kitchen means the place where we cook food, where we prepare food, isn't it? So in a plant body also, since leaf is the part that prepares food, it is also known as the kitchen of a plant. And leaves, they have small pores on their bodies, on their surface. Those small pores are called stomata. What does stomata do? Do you have any idea? Well, you must have, right? Stomata, they helps the plant, they helps the plant body to breathe. Okay, stomata are the small pores present on the surface of leaves, and those small pores help the plant body to breathe. Okay, then now see here, the next part is, I have labeled your next part, that is bud. Bud is there. What is the meaning of bud? Bud means it is the young stage of a flower. Okay, it is the young stage of a flower. And nodes is also here. Node means a stem. It is divided into smaller divisions, and those divisions are called nodes, or the subdivision is also known as internodes. Okay, stem, it is divided into further divisions, and its division is known as nodes or internodes. Okay, now let's move on to next part, that is fruits. The next part of a plant, that is fruits. Every one of us, we love to have fruits, isn't it? Fruits, they are very delicious as well. We consume the juice prepared from fruits, and fruits, they are eaten raw. Yes, they are not cooked, isn't it? Okay, talking about the fruits, some of the fruits, they have single seed in them, whereas other fruits, they have many seeds in them as well. Like we have been eating mangoes, lychees, isn't it? How many seeds do mangoes and lychees have? They have a single seed in them. Whereas talking about oranges, watermelon, papayas, these plants, they have these fruits, they have many seeds in them. Then what we can say is, some of the fruits, they have single seed, whereas some of the fruits, they have many seeds in them. What are seeds then? Seeds, they are very important parts of a plant. Okay, fruits, seeds, they are also the hard part that is present inside the fruits. The hard part that is present inside the fruits is also known as seed. And most of the flowering plants, they reproduce with the help of seeds only. Most of the flowering plants, they reproduce with the help of their seeds present in them. Okay, now let's see how does the seed develop into a young plant. Okay, suppose when we keep a seed inside the soil, and when it is nurtured daily with proper amount of water, sunlight, air, then it starts germinating, that is, it starts growing up. Okay, then let's check out how does a seed germinate. Suppose this is the seed. that we have kept inside the ground, okay, under the soil. Then what happens? This seed, as it grows up, a small structure appears from the end of the seed, okay. A small structure appears from the end of the seed. This small structure that has appeared from the seed is called the radicle. What is it called? It is called the radicle. And after some time, this radicle is the structure that grows into roots, okay. After some days, this radicle, it is the structure that grows into roots. And then what happens? Also after some time, the next structure appears from the tip of the seed itself. Okay, this structure is the radicle that has been growing into roots, okay. And the structure that has appeared from the tip of the seed, it is known as plumule. See here students, seed, after it is placed on the ground, then after some time, after some days, when it is nurtured with proper amount of water and other requirements, then it slowly develops into, it starts producing a small structure. That small structure is known as radicle, and radicle, after some days, it starts growing into roots, okay. Then in the similar way, the next structure that appears from the top of the seed is known as plumule. Then what happens? These structures, finally they start growing into a young baby plant, okay, along with a young stem, very weak stem, green stem. They starts growing into young stem, and this young stem or the young plant is known as seedling. What is it called as? It is known as seedling. Finally, then after some days, again, whenever they get proper time, then what happens? This seedling grows into a young plant like this. In this way, a seed germinates. This is the process of germination of a seed, okay. Radicle and plumule are the terms that we have mentioned here. Radicle, it is the small structure that grows at the end of the seed, okay. And this is the structure that grows, that develops into roots after some time. And then a structure that appears at the top of the seed is called plumule, okay. And then when they are fully mature, when they are grown up, then they grow up into a seedling. Seedling is a young plant. Then seedling, finally it grows into a young flowering, into a mature flowering plant, okay. So this is the process of germination of a seed. Now students, let's move on to next part, that is flowers. Flowers, they are the colorful part of a plant, right? Every one of us love flower as well. They are of different colors, they are of different shapes, they are of different size, isn't it? Well, now talking about the flower. Here, what we can see, this is also the picture of a flower, okay. And a complete flower, it has 4 holes. How many holes? They have 4 holes. That is, a complete flower has 4 parts. They are, let me write here, they are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Okay, see here, a complete flower, it has 4 parts or 4 holes: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. These are the 4 holes of a complete flower. Okay, now let's move on to the first part, that is calyx. It is the outermost hole of a flower. That means it is the outer covering of a flower. And calyx, it is made up of sepals. What is it made up of? Calyx is made up of sepals, many sepals. Okay, and sepals, they are green in color. Now see here, I have drawn an individual part here, individual sepal here, but in flowers, sepals means this. Okay, these are the sepals, they are green in color. What do sepals do, or what is the function of calyx in a flower? Okay, calyx, since it is the outermost covering, it protects the flower in its early stage. That means whenever the flower is young, then it is protected by sepals. Okay. Now let's move on to corolla. This is the second most hole of a flower. That is calyx, it is the first hole, corolla, it is the second most hole of a flower. And corolla, it is made up of many petals. See here, corolla, it is made up of many petals. Here in this flower, petals, these are the petals that I have labeled here. Okay. And petals, they are very brightly colored as well. They are very brightly colored. That means they look very attractive as well. And their function is they can easily attract the insects for pollination. They can, due to their attractive colors, insects, they easily get attracted to them. And whenever the insects come, it becomes easier for a flower to pollinate. Okay. That means the function of corolla, that the function of petals is to attract the insects during pollination. Now, the third part of a flower, the third hole of a flower is androecium. And androecium, it is made up of stamens. See here, stamens. Okay, and in this figure, these are the stamens. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have made here 4 stamens, right? And stamens, it is further divided into 2 parts, that is anther and filament. Also, let me tell you, androecium, it is the male reproductive part of a flower. Androecium is the male reproductive part of a flower. Okay, and here, as I told, stamen, it has other 2 parts as well, that is anther and filament. Here, these brown colored, these are anthers, and this green color stain like structures, these are filament. Okay, what does filament do? It attacks anther into it. Okay, it helps the anther to be attached, whereas anther, it produces pollen grains. What does anther do? It produces pollen grains. Filament, it helps to attach anther into it, whereas anther, it produces pollen grains. Understood? Are you getting me or not? Now, moving on to next part, next hole of a flower, that is gynoecium. Gynoecium. If androecium is the male reproductive part of a flower, then gynoecium, obviously it is the female reproductive part of a flower. Okay, and gynoecium, it is made up of pistils. See, it is made up of pistils. The individual structure of pistil is like this, and here this structure is the pistil. Okay, and pistil, it also has other 3 parts, that is stigma, style and ovary. Stigma, style and ovary. Here ovules are there. What are ovules then? Ovary, they produce other further structures. Those structures are called ovules. Okay, and ovules, they help in fertilization. When the male and female gametes fuse with each other, then fertilization takes place. Understood? So this was the discussion that we made on the basis of parts of a complete flower. Do you remember what are the 4 holes of a complete flower? The 4 holes of a complete flower are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. Okay, and each parts, they are made up of other individual parts, that is calyx is made up of sepals, corolla is made up of petals, androecium made up of stamens and gynoecium made up of pistils. Here androecium is the male reproductive part of a flower and gynoecium is the female reproductive part of a flower. Okay. Now students, we discussed on parts of a plant and their functions, right? Do you remember what is the function of leaf? Leaf, it helps to prepare food for the plants, and root, it absorbs water and minerals from the soil. Stem, it helps the plant to stand erect, isn't it? And then fruits. Fruits are also there, right? And we discussed on it as well. Fruits, they have seeds, and seeds, this is the germination process of a seed into a young plant. We discussed this process as well. Now students, let's move on to a short exercise. Okay, now have a look here. The first says androecium, calyx, corolla, gynoecium, plumule and radicle, and the options are attracts insects, female reproductive part, grows into roots, grows into shoots, male part of flower, protects flower in early stage. I guess you have already guessed the answers, right? Now androecium, we had discussed here, right? What is androecium? Is it the female reproductive part or the male part of flower? Okay, androecium, it is the male reproductive part of a flower, that is, it is the male part of a flower. In the similar way, calyx, the first part that we had discussed was calyx. Calyx, since it is the outermost covering, what does it do? It protects the flower, isn't it? That means calyx, it protects the flower in early stage. And then corolla, the second most part of a flower. What does corolla do? It, since it is the attractive part of a flower, what does it do? It attracts the insect, right? Corolla, it attracts the insects. During the process of pollination, insects are attracted by corolla because it is brightly colored as well. And next is gynoecium. Here androecium, we have matched it in male part of a flower. Then gynoecium means it is the female reproductive part. Gynoecium is the female reproductive part of a flower. Now plumule and radicle. Do you remember the structures that I had drawn here earlier? Radicle means it is the structure that appears at the bottom of the seed, and that is the structure that grows into root. Radicle, right? That means plumule, it grows into shoots, okay, and radicle, it grows into roots. Very easy, isn't it? Okay. Now as your assignment, I am going to assign you, draw a beautiful picture of a complete flower and label its parts. Also try to remember their functions as well. Okay. Hope students you got the class well. Thank you for today. Have a nice day everyone.